Madara Uchiha, tossing meteors like they're nothing. When Madara Uchiha steps onto the battlefield, it's not just an entrance, it's a complete takeover. In Naruto Shippuden, the moment he's reanimated during the Fourth Great Ninja War, the entire vibe shifts. You can feel the tension, like even the sky holding its breath. And at one point, he summons this enormous meteor, and everyone in the 4th Division just freezes. In fact, it's so massive that they can't even tell if it's ninjutsu. Gaara even compares it to divine power.
Is this the power of a god?
Because that's exactly how unstoppable it looks. But here's the kicker. After they somehow manage to stop the first meteor, Madara casually drops a second one like it's no big deal. That whole scene doesn't just show power. It shows presence. The ninja army suddenly realizing that they're not the heroes anymore. They're just background characters in Madara's story. He doesn't yell or posture. He walks slowly and calmly, and the whole animation seems to slow down with him. He wipes out entire squads without breaking a sweat. And sometimes the scariest thing is when he's not doing anything at all, just standing there watching. And that kind of silence is louder than any battlefield speech. And that's what true aura farming looks like. It's effortless, chilling, and completely magnetic. Yami Tsukahiro versus Vetto. In Black Clover, there are quite a few characters who have a serious presence, but Yami Tsukahiro tops them all. He's the captain of the Black Bulls.
Captain Yami? What are you doing here?
No matter how wild things can get, he's always composed. And that alone qualifies him as an aura farmer. But his true power lies in how he keeps surpassing his limits. No matter how cornered he sees, he'll always figure something out. And a perfect example here is with his fight with Vetto in the Seabed Temple. The Black Bulls were in trouble, completely backed into a corner, and it looked like defeat was a sure thing. But when Yami showed up, right when things were about to go south, he literally had to invent a new move on the spot. And that move ended the fight with a single clean slash. And just like that, Vetto went down. And Yami at that point didn't just save the day. He owned the moment without even looking rattled. I am atomic. When it comes to eminence in the shadow, the whole show thrives on flipping expectations. Shadow doesn't need a reason to be strong. The anime doesn't try to justify his power. It just lets him go wild. And that's what makes it so entertaining. Shadow is the definition of aura because he moves like someone who knows he's untouchable.
I am atomic.
One of the most iconic moments comes during his fight with the elf hero Olivier. She stabs him through the chest, but instead of panicking and reacting in pain, Shadow leans into the blade. Then, in his eerie, calm voice, he whispers,
Atomic.
It's over in an instant. And that moment perfectly captures the heart of aura farming. He's unfazed, he's powerful, and he lets the scene build all around him until he himself decides to end it. Zoro. 3 swords, 1,000 tons of aura. Zoro doesn't just fight. He turns every battle into something unforgettable. The second he ties his bandana and pulls out his swords, the whole vibe just changes. He doesn't need flashy powers or explosions. His calm, focused presence is enough to get everyone's attention, and to make enemies seriously rethink their choices. Zoro rarely wastes words. He just lets his swordplay do all the talking. Whether he's up against warlords or mythical beasts, he always picks the toughest opponent in the room, and that's not by accident. It's just his way of proving who he is. His aura comes from being grounded, fearless, and completely unshakable. Every scar that he has tells a story, and every fight makes him even more iconic. And one of his most powerful moments, well, that's when he lost to Mihawk. Even in defeat, he stood tall and declared, "I will never lose again." And that line, paired with the apology to his crew and the promise to Luffy, hit hard. But then there's also episode 1027, when Zoro unleashes his Asura Nine-Sword style against Kaido, showing the world just how far he's come. And so whether he wins or he loses, Zoro makes sure that you never forget that fight. Freyja versus Aura. Freyja Beyond Journey's End is a quiet and emotional series, but it definitely doesn't hold back when it comes to powerful moments. And one of the biggest comes during Freyja's battle with a demon ironically named Aura. Aura here thought that she had the upper hand, believing Freyja to just be another mage that she could outmatch. But Freyja, being Freyja, was hiding her true strength the whole time, letting Aura get comfortable. And when the time was right, Freyja turned the tables completely, using Aura's own magic against her and delivering a single cold command: kill yourself. And just like that, the fight ended. It wasn't loud or dramatic, but it didn't need to be. Freyja's stillness, her calm control, and that single sentence held more power than any flashy attack ever could. And that's Aura, not the demon, Aura. Quiet, commanding, and absolute. Jotaro walking Dio down. The definition of cool. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is wild from start to finish, and every JoJo brings their own unique energy. But Jotaro Kujo, he keeps it simple by being pure cool. Whether it's his calm demeanor, his deadpan tone, or his unshakable confidence, Jotaro owns every scene that he's in. And the peak of his aura farming comes during his final showdown with Dio Brando in Stardust Crusaders. Up until this moment, Dio had been untouchable. His stand the world seemed unstoppable, and nobody had figured out how to deal with it. But Jotaro? He didn't even flinch. With the help of his friends and a little strategy, he marched straight toward Dio, never once backing down. That slow, deliberate walk said everything. He wasn't afraid because he was ready. It's one of those scenes that you just can't look away from because it just feels epic. Gojo versus Sukuna. When Jujutsu Kaisen introduced Satoru Gojo and Ryomen Sukuna, it was clear that they weren't just powerful. They were on another level. These two characters bend the world around them, and their presence demands attention. And during their first clash, Gojo made it clear that he's the king of flair. After Itadori consumes one of Sukuna's fingers, Sukuna takes control for 10 seconds. Gojo doesn't waste a moment, as he jumps straight into battle. And here's the thing, Gojo didn't need to win. He was just curious to see how powerful the King of Curses really is. Sukuna may only be using a fraction of his true strength, but that didn't stop Gojo from going all in, tossing out technique after technique. It's not just a fight, as it's a statement. Gojo was showing off, and he knew it. Jinwoo on Jeju Island. When it comes to modern anime icons, Sung Jinwoo from Solo Leveling stands tall. Literally and metaphorically. His aura is so strong that people can barely look at him unless he wants them to. It's not even just about his strength. It's about the way he moves, the way he appears, and the way he carries himself. The moment he lands on Jeju Island is an all-time favorite for sure. The top-tier hunters are struggling, the ants are winning, and it feels like hope is fading fast. Then, out of nowhere, Jinwoo appears. No grand entrance, no loud declaration. He's just there, and everything changes. Enemies panic, allies cheer, and the battlefield shifts in seconds. He single-handedly takes down the ants and their terrifying king like it's child's play. And it shows that Jinwoo's aura doesn't just affect the people around him. It transforms the whole tone of the story. And that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. If you have any suggestions for future videos, then you're always welcome to share them in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop, and if you want, you can always share your thoughts about this video in the comments down below.